Throughout the history of the United States, immigration has become a part of our country's fabric, which began centuries ago. Immigration allows for citizens from other countries to improve their lives and become productive members of society. However, immigration has continued to be the subject of intense national debate. Majority of immigrants who migrate to the United States are dreaming of a better future for themselves and for their families. Their hopes, at the very minimum, is to be able to give their future generations the opportunity at the American dream. My video seeks to address the impacts of immigration in the United States. I will argue that the social, political, and economic factors have shaped migration in many ways. Socially, at its best, migration can be a rewarding experience that is made in the interest of the immigrant's household. But in most cases, moving to another country and being separated from one's immediate family takes considerable emotional cost. According to Kahn, immigration increases the risk for family breakdown, fragmentation of social networks, and psychosocial stress. Additionally, according to Sanket Mohapatra, Dilip Ratha, and Alina Shija, the emotional impact is not just limited to the immigrants themselves, but also to the family left behind. When parents and children are separated from each other, parents are typically replaced with other family members and lose their role as authority and providers of love. Being separated from their parents has a long-term consequence in children's lives. The feelings of being abandoned and lost follow children. Adolescents who are left behind are also commonly identified as adapting risky behavior, and absence of mothers has been found to be associated with the involvement of children with violence. According to a study done in Jamaica, D'Amelio notes that 80% of children in conflict with the law had their mothers absent, while this was not the case for the other 20% of children. Also, the abuse of drugs and alcohol, as well as reduced school attendance, has been observed among children left behind by immigrants. Aside from children being affected from the absence of their parents, increasing inflows of immigrants impose an integration challenge in all areas of social life for those migrating. This inability to integrate the newcomers has at times led to great human suffering. The overall failure of integration has led to massive expulsions of migrants. According to Leslie Jacob, the challenge of integration is most prominent in urban areas. Most internal as well as international immigrants end up in the cities of developing countries because of employment opportunities, with many immigrants working in the informal sector of business, transport, and labor. Politically, immigrants are expected to have a long-term effect on American politics. According to Avrahano and Hanjna, immigration not only has the ability to shape not just what society looks like, but also immigration can influence how society responds to public policy needs. According to the Pew Research Center, the 2012 election fundamentally changed the political calculus of immigration reform. More than 12% Latino voters went to the polls, making up 10% of the American electorate. 73% of them supported President Obama, representing a crucial margin that played a key role in the re-election victory. With the Latino electorate expected to grow, both the Republican and Democratic parties have strong desires to have support from Latino and other immigrant group voters, in which immigration reform is a major issue to win over their support. Abrahano explains that if white native-born Americans, and particularly voters, see immigrants in the politics surrounding immigration as a threat, that threat can shape fundamental and stable political attachments, like party affiliations. Many economic factors have been influenced by the increasing number of immigrants that have entered the United States. According to Ivanova, about 25 million immigrants are working in the country today, filling jobs from programming to construction. While some policymakers blame immigration on the slow wage growth in America, research suggests that there is a little effect on American wages. Evidence by Penn Wharton suggests that immigration leads to more innovation, a better educated workforce, and a higher overall economic productivity. Immigrants typically work the jobs that American-born citizens would not attempt to do for the little pay that is given. At the same time, lower wages paid to undocumented workers in low-skill positions cut the cost of production, which leads to lower prices for the consumer. According to Wharton, economists generally agree that the effects of immigration on the U.S. economy are broadly positive. It is believed that immigration may actually have significant long-term benefits for the native-born, pushing them into higher-paying occupations and raising the overall pace of innovation and productivity growth. There is still an ongoing debate as to whether illegal immigration has negative or positive impacts to the U.S. Some people argue that illegal immigration is good for any country, as is usually followed by periods of growth. Others state that illegal immigrants pose a challenge to the government and should be gotten rid of. My research has instilled different impacts that are occurring through the immigration community. Many individuals opposed to immigration might find this information useful, as it can be made clear how immigrants contribute to our social, economical, and political developments. Overall, immigration has played a huge role in the United States from past to current times. Immigrants living in the United States do not hurt our society, but in fact enhance it. Whatever one's view on immigration, it is critically important to understand that its effect on America represents a choice. Migration is a beautiful thing. As a person that lives in the melting pot of this country, I find it quite important that we accept those who come to this country for hopes of a better life. America was built on the American dream.